The morning sun cast long shadows across the dig site as Jack wiped sweat from his brow. 3 weeks of careful digging had yielded nothing but broken pottery and stone tools. Standard finds for a site dating back 12,000 years, but nothing that would make headlines or secure future funding. Just one more hour, he muttered to himself, carefully scraping at the hard-packed soil. His trowel suddenly hit something solid with a metallic clink, rather than the dull thud of stone. Jack froze. Metallic? That made no sense. The people who lived here had no metalworking technology. He switched to a smaller brush, carefully clearing dirt from around the object. As more of it became visible, his confusion grew. It was smooth and egg-shaped, with a surface that shimmered slightly in the sunlight. "Hey, Tom," he called to his assistant. "Come look at this." Together, they freed the object from the soil. It fit perfectly in Jack's palm, heavier than it looked and cool to the touch despite sitting in the sun-baked earth. Its surface was covered in tiny lines that looked almost like a circuit board. "What is it?" Tom asked. "I have no idea," Jack admitted, "but it shouldn't be here. Not in a 12,000-year-old site." When Jack's fingers traced one of the patterns, the object suddenly hummed. Blue light began to seep from between the lines, casting an eerie glow on their faces. Tom stepped back. "Maybe we should call someone." "The university or—" "Not yet," Jack said quickly. "Let me study it first." Something inside him didn't want to share this discovery until he understood it better. Later that night, in his small apartment, Jack examined the object under a desk lamp. The blue glow had faded, but returned whenever he touched specific patterns. He took measurements, photographs, and notes, growing more certain with each passing hour that this was unlike anything in the archaeological record. When he finally fell asleep at his desk, the object sat inches from his hand, its glow pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. Across the vastness of space, an alarm sounded on the command deck of an enormous ship. A technician's eyes widened as data streamed across the screen. "Commander Vex," the technician called out. "We have a signal." A tall figure approached, its skin pale and eyes large and dark. "After all this time, verify." "Signal confirmed. Pattern matches the seed's activation signature." "Location." The technician paused. "Third planet of a yellow star in Sector 7. Vex's expression hardened. "The crash site. Someone has found it." "Should we alert the council?" "Immediately. The seed cannot remain in primitive hands." Jack spent the next weeks secretly studying the object. He measured strange energy readings that defied explanation. When he brought a magnet near it, the object floated an inch above the table. He told no one, not even his department head. On the 7th night, while turning the object in his hands, Jack pressed 3 patterns simultaneously by accident. The room filled with light as a hologram burst from the device, a 3-dimensional map of stars, with one pulsing brightly and a line connecting it to another star system. Jack stared in amazement as he realized what the bright point represented. Earth. The object was showing him a path to somewhere deep in space. As he reached toward the hologram, the map zoomed out further, revealing hundreds of similar lines all converging on a distant point. Jack's hands trembled as the truth became undeniable. This wasn't human technology. It couldn't be. "My God," he whispered to the empty room. "It's a map to the stars." He didn't notice the small indicator in the corner of the hologram, blinking steadily. "Signal active. Transmission complete." 3 months passed since Jack found the strange object. He quit his university position, using savings to rent a small lab where he could study the artifact in private. The holographic star map appeared whenever he activated the right sequence, but he was no closer to understanding the technology behind it. One evening, as Jack worked late, his phone buzzed with messages. Friends were texting about strange lights in the sky. He ignored them until Tom called, voice shaking. "Jack, turn on the news. Now." Every channel showed the same images. Massive dark ships hovering over major cities worldwide. New York, London, Beijing, Moscow. All had visitors. The ships were shaped like giant arrowheads, their surfaces reflecting city lights below. "It can't be a coincidence," Jack whispered, looking at the alien object on his workbench. Military jets scrambled worldwide, approaching the ships with caution. When fighter planes in Russia fired warning shots, their missiles exploded harmlessly against invisible shields. The ships remained motionless, as if waiting. Jack's phone rang again. This time, it was Lisa Gray, a physicist he'd secretly consulted about the energy readings from the artifact. "Jack, those ships, they're connected to your discovery, aren't they?" Her voice was steady despite the chaos unfolding. "I think so," he admitted. "The object sent a signal that night when I activated the star map. You need to get somewhere safe. If they track the signal to Earth, they might be able to find its exact location." Before Jack could respond, every screen in the world, TVs, computers, phones, flickered and changed. The image of a humanoid figure appeared. It looked almost human, but wrong somehow. Too tall, limbs too long, skin too pale, eyes too large and completely black. "People of Earth," the figure spoke in perfect English. "I am Vex, ambassador of the Collectors. We have come to reclaim what is ours. 3 of your months ago, one of you activated ancient technology belonging to our civilization. This technology, what we call the Seed, was lost during an exploratory mission millennia ago. We demand its immediate return." Vex's face grew stern. "You have 48 hours to surrender the Seed, and any who have interacted with it. We will know if you attempt deception. Failure to comply will result in demonstrations of our displeasure." The screens returned to normal, leaving the world in panic. Jack's hands shook as he packed the artifact in a lead-lined box. He had seen enough science fiction to know what happened when advanced aliens demanded something from humans. Nothing good. Lisa arrived at his lab 30 minutes later. "The government will be looking for that thing. And for you." "I know." Jack closed the box. "But I don't trust them with this either. You saw the message. The aliens want anyone who interacted with it too. So what do we do?" Jack thought for a moment. There's more to this story. Why would advanced aliens care about one piece of lost technology? And why would they wait 3 months to show up? Lisa nodded. "And why call it the Seed? Seeds grow into something bigger." "Exactly." Jack pointed to his notes. "The star map doesn't just show a path from Earth to their home. It shows something here on Earth. Coordinates in Siberia. You think there's more alien technology there. I think the Seed is just a key, and whatever it opens is what they really want." Outside, sirens wailed as military vehicles moved through the streets. The world was mobilizing for possible war, while governments searched desperately for what the aliens wanted. "We need to go," Lisa said, peering through the blinds. "If we're right about Siberia, we might be the only ones who can find what they're looking for before they do." Jack grabbed his backpack. "And then what?" Lisa's expression was grim. "Then we figure out why they want it so badly, and whether they should have it at all." Getting to Siberia proved harder than Jack and Lisa expected. Airports worldwide had shut down as governments scrambled to respond to the alien threat. Borders closed. Military vehicles filled the streets. The collectors' ships remained hovering over major cities, silent and waiting as their deadline approached. Jack and Lisa had made it to a small motel outside the city when they heard a knock at their door. Jack grabbed a knife from his backpack, nodding at Lisa to hide the artifact. "Who is it?" he called. "Someone who wants to help," a man's voice answered. "And who knows what you have." Jack opened the door slightly, chain still in place. Outside stood a tall man in a plain black suit. Behind him were 2 soldiers in unmarked uniforms. "My name is Commander Alex Reed," the man said. "I suggest you let us in before the wrong people find you." "How did you find us?" Lisa asked once they were inside. "We've been monitoring unusual energy signatures for decades," Alex explained. "Your artifact lit up our sensors like a Christmas tree 3 months ago, then again last night. Jack kept the lead box close. Are you here to take it for the government? To hand it over to the aliens? Alex shook his head. No, we're here because we need your help. He placed a tablet on the table, showing satellite images of a location in Siberia. We've known about this site for 40 years. Unusual readings, impossible to access. Every expedition we've sent has failed to get inside. And you think our artifact is the key, Lisa said. It wasn't a question. We know it is. Alex looked at Jack. The question is whether you'll help us. The world's governments are divided. Some want to hand over whatever the aliens want. Others believe we should fight, though God knows how. My team believes there's a third option. Jack exchanged looks with Lisa. What's the option? We access the site, learn what's hidden there, and use it to negotiate from a position of strength. 24 hours later, they were on a military transport plane heading for Siberia. The world below was in chaos. In Tokyo, the collectors had demonstrated their power by disabling all electronics in the city for 5 minutes, a warning. On the plane, Jack studied the artifact while Lisa reviewed the data Alex's team had collected over decades. These energy readings make no sense, she said. It's like the laws of physics just bend around the site. Alex nodded. That's why we could never get in. Every drilling attempt failed. Equipment malfunctioned. People got sick when they stayed too close for too long. Jack activated the star map again. This time he focused on the Earth coordinates. It's showing something new, he said. Look at these patterns. They're like instructions. The plane landed at a remote airstrip where trucks waited to take them through the frozen wilderness. Above them, the sky was clear and cold, no sign of alien ships this far from civilization. Their convoy stopped at the edge of what looked like an ordinary hillside, covered in snow and scraggly trees. Equipment readings went wild. This is it, Alex said. Ground zero. Jack approached the hillside with the artifact. Following the patterns from the map, he pressed his hand against what appeared to be solid rock. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ground began to vibrate. A section of hillside simply vanished, revealing a dark corridor sloping downward. Cool air rushed out, carrying strange smells. It was hidden behind some kind of energy field. Lisa whispered in amazement. Alex ordered his team to set up a perimeter while Jack, Lisa, and Alex prepared to enter. Remember, Alex warned, we have less than 12 hours before the collector's deadline. Whatever is down there, we need to find it fast. Jack nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. Let's hope it's worth it. As they stepped through the entrance, lights activated automatically along the walls, illuminating a passage that was clearly not built by human hands. The walls were smooth, with the same circuit-like patterns as the artifact. My God, Lisa whispered. It's been here for thousands of years, just waiting. Behind them, the entrance sealed shut. The sealed door behind them caused a moment of panic until Jack found a control panel similar to patterns on the artifact. With a touch, the entrance reopened. Alex radioed his team outside, ordering them to maintain position, while the 3 explorers ventured deeper. The corridor led to a vast chamber that took their breath away. The ceiling rose at least 50 feet, covered in the same glowing circuit patterns. Around the room stood tall cylinders filled with blue liquid. Inside each floated what appeared to be preserved specimens of strange creatures, none resembling any Earth animal. They collected life forms, Lisa whispered, moving closer to one container. Inside was a creature with 6 limbs and a triangular head. From all over the galaxy, I'm guessing. Alex approached a raised platform in the center of the room. Look at this. The platform held a sphere about the size of a basketball, hovering inches above its surface. Its outer shell rotated slowly, covered in the same patterns as Jack's artifact. That must be it, Jack said. The seed core they're looking for. Lisa scanned it with equipment from her pack. The energy readings are off the charts. Whatever this is, it's still active after thousands of years. Jack placed his artifact in a small indentation on the platform. The floating sphere immediately responded, its rotation speeding up. The walls of the chamber came alive with holographic displays, star maps, diagrams, text in an alien language. A voice spoke, seeming to come from everywhere at once. Genetic profile recognized. Access granted. Alex looked startled. It spoke English. No, Lisa said. It's reading our brains somehow. We're hearing it in English, but it's not actually speaking our language. The voice continued. This facility contains technology deemed too dangerous for single-species control. The seed core was hidden on Earth as a sanctuary, protected until worthy guardians evolved. One hologram expanded, showing a ship crashing to Earth. The Collector exploratory vessel was disabled by rebel faction members who believed the core technology should be shared among all spacefaring species. They chose Earth because early humans showed unique adaptive capabilities. Jack stepped closer to the core. What exactly does this technology do? The room darkened, and a new hologram appeared, a demonstration of stars with lines connecting them. The seed core generates stable wormholes between any 2 points in space, allowing instant travel across unlimited distances. Instant interstellar travel. Lisa breathed. That would revolutionize everything, or become the ultimate weapon. Alex added grimly. Whoever controls this could appear anywhere, anytime, without warning. The hologram shifted to show two groups of collectors fighting. The dominant faction believes this technology belongs exclusively to collectors. They would use it to expand their empire and subjugate other species. And now they want it back, Jack said. Correct. The voice sounded almost sad. They detected activation when you found the key. Their arrival was inevitable. Alex's radio crackled. Sir, we have company. Multiple aircraft approaching from the north. Not ours. How long? Alex demanded. 10 minutes, maybe less. Lisa looked at Jack. We need to decide what to do with this thing. We can't let the collectors have it. Can we move it? Jack asked the voice. The core cannot be removed from this facility without proper stabilization protocols. However, it can be activated here. Activated? Jack asked. Yes. The core was designed to be used by multiple species working in harmony. It requires a neurological interface from a compatible species. Like humans? Lisa asked. Correct. Human brainwave patterns are uniquely suited to interface with the core technology. Alex checked his weapon. Whatever we're going to do, we need to decide fast. Those aircraft are probably collectors. Jack looked at the floating core. Maybe we don't need to hide it or fight for it. Maybe we need to understand why it was hidden here in the first place. He reached out and placed his hands on either side of the hovering sphere. The circuit patterns immediately lit up, connecting with similar lines that suddenly appeared on Jack's skin. His eyes widened as information flowed directly into his mind. Jack! Lisa cried out in alarm. He turned to her, eyes glowing with the same blue light as the core. I understand now, he said. I know what we need to do. Blue light pulsed through Jack's veins as the core connected with his mind. Thousands of years of knowledge flooded his consciousness, the history of the collectors, the rebellion that hid the core, and the true purpose of the technology. The core wasn't meant for war, Jack said, his voice changing slightly. It was designed to connect civilizations, not conquer them. The rebel collectors saw that their leaders would use it to dominate the galaxy. That's why they crashed here, to hide it until humans were ready. Lisa stepped closer, concerned. Jack, are you okay? Better than okay. He smiled, though the blue glow in his eyes was unsettling. I can see everything now. The core is showing me. Alex's radio crackled again. Sir, they've landed. Multiple hostiles approaching the entrance. They have some kind of energy weapons. We're out of time, Alex said grimly. Jack, what exactly do you mean when you say you know what to do? Before Jack could answer, the chamber's entrance slid open. Commander Vex stood there with 4 collector soldiers, all carrying sleek rifles that hummed with energy. "Step away from the core," Vex ordered. His actual voice was deeper than in his broadcast, with an odd resonance that made their teeth vibrate. Alex raised his weapon, but Jack held up his hand. "Wait, nobody needs to die here." Vex's huge black eyes narrowed. "The core belongs to the collectors. Your primitive species cannot comprehend its importance." "I comprehend more than you think," Jack replied. The blue light in his veins pulsed brighter. "I know the core was hidden here because your ancestors feared what your leaders would do with it." Vex stepped forward. "Rebel propaganda. The core will bring order to the galaxy under collector guidance." "You mean collector control," Lisa countered. "Your own people disagreed enough to crash their ship rather than let that happen." Jack released his grip on the core, but maintained the connection. "The rebels chose Earth because they saw something in humans: adaptability, creativity, cooperation despite our differences, traits your kind has lost in its pursuit of power." Vex's patience was clearly wearing thin. "Enough. My soldiers will kill your companions if you don't step away from the core." The standoff was interrupted by a new sound, a deep rumbling from outside. The chamber vibrated as something massive passed overhead. Alex's radio burst to life. "Commander, there's another ship, much bigger than the others." Through their mental connection, Jack received a warning from the core. "Another faction has arrived," he said. "The Wanderers." "Impossible," Vex hissed. "The Wanderers were driven to the edge of the galaxy cycles ago." "They've been watching," Jack explained, waiting to see if the core would be rediscovered. The facility shook again, more violently this time. Dust fell from the ceiling. "The Wanderers are attacking your ships," Jack told Vex. "They want the core as much as you do, but neither of you understands its true purpose." Vex looked uncertain for the first time. "What do you mean, human?" "The core doesn't just create wormholes for travel. It was designed to link minds across species, to create understanding and cooperation. That's what your ancestors wanted, not domination, but connection." The chamber shook again. A crack appeared in one wall. "We're running out of time," Lisa warned. "If they keep fighting above us, this whole place could collapse." Jack looked at Vex. "You have a choice. Continue fighting for control of the core, likely destroying it in the process, or work with us to use it as intended, to bring peace." For a long moment, Vex was silent. The sounds of battle intensified overhead. "The Wanderers will show no mercy," Vex finally said. "They have hunted the last of the core technology for generations. If they possess it, my people will be enslaved or exterminated." "Then we need to activate it now," Jack said. "Show both sides what it's truly meant for." He turned to Lisa and Alex. "I need your help. The core was designed to be activated by multiple minds working together. It needs humans to interface, but it also needs a collector." Alex looked skeptical. "You want us to trust them?" "After they threatened our planet." Jack nodded. "That's exactly what the core is about. Trust across differences. It's the only way." Lisa stepped forward. "I'm in." Alex hesitated, then nodded reluctantly. "What choice do we have?" All eyes turned to Vex, who stood at a crossroads for his entire civilization. The chamber shook violently again as the battle raged overhead. Small pieces of ceiling crashed to the floor around them. Time was running out. Vex stared at Jack, his large black eyes unreadable. "You ask me to betray my leaders, my orders. I'm asking you to honor the true purpose of your ancestors," Jack replied. "To choose connection over conquest." After what seemed like forever, Vex lowered his weapon. "How do we activate it properly?" Jack gestured to the platform. "We need to form a circle around the core. All of us." Lisa and Alex moved into position. Vex hesitated, then ordered his soldiers to lower their weapons and join the circle. The core began to pulse faster, sensing their presence. "Now we need to all touch it at the same time," Jack instructed. The core will create a temporary mental link between us. Lisa looked nervous. Will it hurt? No, Jack said. But it will change us. All of us. Together, they reached toward the floating sphere. The moment their fingers touched its surface, blue energy exploded outward, connecting each person with streams of light. The light traveled up their arms and spread throughout their bodies. Jack gasped as his mind expanded. He could feel Lisa's determination, Alex's cautious bravery, Vex's conflicted sense of duty. And they could feel his hope, his wonder. The core is activating, Jack said, his voice echoing strangely. It's scanning for all minds connected to this conflict. Through their mental link, they witnessed the core's power extending upward, out of the facility, reaching the battling ships above. The energy enveloped both collector and wanderer vessels. In their shared vision, they saw the stunned reactions of aliens on both sides as the core's light touched their minds, creating understanding where there had been only hatred and fear. It's working, Lisa whispered. I can feel them all. So many minds. Vex's expression changed from suspicion to wonder. I can feel the wanderers. I can understand their suffering, their fear of us, and they can feel mine. The facility stopped shaking as the battle halted. The core pulsed brighter, its energy spreading across the planet and beyond, connecting every human and alien mind involved in the conflict. This is what it was meant for, Jack said. Not a weapon, but a bridge between different worlds, different perspectives. Through their connection, they'd witnessed the collector ships withdrawing from Earth's cities. The terrified humans below felt the change, sensing somehow that the threat had passed. The core can't maintain this global connection for long, Jack warned. But we can use it to establish peace, to make them understand we won't surrender the core, but we will share what it teaches. Vex nodded. My people are listening. The wanderers too. They feel what I feel. Tell them, Jack encouraged. Tell them what we can build together. Vex closed his eyes, sending his thoughts through the core network. The core belongs to no one species. It was created to unite, not divide. The humans have shown us the path back to our true purpose. The blue energy began to pulse more slowly. The connection is fading, Jack said, but its effects will remain. The understanding it created can't be undone. As the light dimmed, they reluctantly broke contact with the core. The mental connection faded, leaving them separate beings once more, but forever changed by what they had shared. Outside, the sounds of battle had completely ceased. Alex's radio crackled to life. Commander, you won't believe this. Both alien forces are retreating. They're communicating with each other. What happened down there? Alex looked at Jack with new respect. You did it. We did it, Jack corrected, nodding to Vex. The collector commander stood straighter. My leaders will not be pleased. The wanderers will be suspicious. This peace is fragile. But it's real, Lisa said. I felt it. We all did. Jack looked at the core, still floating above its platform, now pulsing with a steady, calm light. This is just the beginning. The core showed me more, a network of similar devices hidden throughout the galaxy, each waiting to be found when the time is right. A network. Vex sounded surprised. The rebels hid more than one. Jack nodded. They believed no single species should control this technology. But together, we might be worthy of it. Vex considered this. My ship can take us to my leaders. They must hear directly what we experienced. Alex raised an eyebrow. Us. All of us, Vex confirmed. Human and collector together. That is the point, is it not? Outside, the world was changing. Humans looked to the sky with wonder instead of fear as the alien ships departed peacefully. And in the vastness of space, former enemies began a cautious dialogue, forever altered by the brief moment of complete understanding. The core had fulfilled its purpose. The connection had begun. 5 years passed since the day humans first made true contact with alien civilizations. The world had changed in ways no one could have imagined. Jack stood on the observation deck of the starship Unity, Earth's first diplomatic vessel, built with shared technology from both the collectors and wanderers. Lisa joined him at the window, sliding her hand into his. The gold band on her finger caught the light of the distant stars. "Ready for this?" she asked. Jack nodded, watching as the ship prepared to activate its core-derived wormhole drive. As ready as anyone can be to meet an entirely new civilization. Behind them, Alex, now Admiral Reed of Earth's new stellar navy, consulted with Vex, who had become the collector ambassador to Earth. The once feared alien commander now worked tirelessly to maintain the fragile peace between their peoples. "The myriad civilization is eager to meet you," Vex said. "They've been watching our alliance with great interest." "And suspicion," Alex added. "Can't blame them. Until 5 years ago, the collectors were conquering anyone in their path. Old wounds heal slowly," Vex acknowledged. "But they heal nonetheless." The ship's captain approached. "Final checks complete. We're ready to generate the portal whenever you give the word." Jack took a deep breath. The Unity carried a miniature version of the core, one that humans and collectors had spent years learning to safely replicate. With it, they could create stable wormholes to distant parts of the galaxy, not for conquest or control, but for exploration and connection. "Engage when ready," Jack said. At the center of the ship, the core technology activated. Outside the observation window, space itself seemed to fold, creating a swirling blue portal large enough for the ship to pass through. "Portal stable," the captain announced. "Destination confirmed." As the Unity approached the wormhole, Jack remembered the day everything changed. The fear when the collectors first arrived. The wonder when he found the artifact. The moment of perfect understanding when they all touched the core together. After that day, the collector and wanderer fleets had withdrawn from Earth, but they didn't disappear. Instead, cautious diplomatic missions began. Trust built slowly as the species worked to understand one another without the core's direct connection. Earth governments united as never before, forming the first truly global council to manage relations with alien civilizations. The technology shared by their new allies advanced human science by centuries in just a few years. Disease, energy shortages, and climate problems began to find solutions. The Unity passed through the wormhole, the familiar gut-wrenching sensation lasting only a moment before they emerged in another star system, thousands of light years from Earth. "Transition complete," the captain announced. "We've arrived at the myriad homeworld." Out the window, a breathtaking sight greeted them. A ringed planet of swirling blues and greens, surrounded by a network of floating cities that sparkled like jewels against the blackness of space. "It's beautiful," Lisa whispered. "And nervous," Vex added. "Their defense grid is active. They're watching us carefully." Jack nodded. As they should be. Trust is earned, not given. A transmission came through the ship's communication system. Strange, musical tones translated into English by their computers. "Visitors from distant worlds, you are welcomed with caution. Approach the designated coordinates and prepare to receive our representatives." Alex smiled slightly. Diplomatic but careful. "I like them already." Jack thought about how far they had come. From a simple archaeological dig to representing humanity among the stars. The core had changed everything. Not by giving them power over others, but by teaching them to see beyond their differences. The core's creators would be proud, Vex said quietly, as if reading Jack's thoughts. Their vision is becoming reality. Small ships approached from the myriad world, an escort to guide them in. "This is just the beginning," Jack said. "The core network spans the entire galaxy, dozens of civilizations waiting to be connected." Lisa squeezed his hand, one connection at a time. As the Unity moved toward the alien world, Jack thought about the small blue planet they had left behind. Earth was changing, growing, learning. Humans were stepping into a vast community of worlds, not as conquerors or the conquered, but as equals. The lost technology, hidden on Earth so long ago, hadn't just been found. It had found its purpose, and humanity had found its place among the stars. The next chapter of their journey was about to begin.